Okay, I just wanted to show you today how to compost in place. I started out, I've got a dish pan here. It's not very deep, but it's deep enough to plant onions in. I've already drilled my holes. I've got like 9 little holes in the bottom. And you can do that with a drill, soldering iron, hot glue gun, anything to melt the plastic to put a hole. And then I went around the yard and I picked up little pieces of tree limbs that fell out, and I broke them down to where they fit in here. And just pile it full of them. I mean, the bigger the pot or pan you've got, the more stuff you can put in it. And that's about all I'm going to put in this. And then I've got leaves. I've got green matter from the yard, you know, off of some of the vines and bushes. Then I'm going to put in table scraps. Just any of your old table scraps will do. Kind of spread that out. And then I've got some old potting soil that I had in some of my other pots where I was growing stuff, and it's pretty much turned to soil. Put that in there. And I'm putting quite a bit because all this is going to break down and go to the bottom. So it's going to end up with maybe half of what's in there right now. And then I'm going to put a little bit, well, I'm going to water it down a little bit first. Because you always want to keep it damp so it'll break down. I mean, you can plant in it right away. It's always best to and I've got just a little bit of garden soil that I'm going to put in the very top. I mean, you don't have to do that. It's best to put potting soil or some type of a potting mix in the very top of it, especially if you're going to plant seeds. I'm going to plant some walking onions, so I'm not really going to have to do that. I've got enough of and I just get just a cheap potting mix. It's usually $3 or $4 a bag that I get. And the good thing about walking onions, that it gives you plenty of green onions to eat all summer. And I'm planting these basically off of some that I've already had, some that I've already grown. And it'll put out more onions for you to plant later. There's some right there. And what I have to do is break them apart. That made 2 right there. So I'm just going to stick it down. Don't have to put them too deep. Put one big one over here. And this one, now if you can see, is a whole cluster of them. That's how the walking onions do. They'll put out a whole cluster of little onions. So off of one little cluster, you can plant a whole pan of onions. All you have to do is stick them down in the dirt. And they'll come up next year. Well, they'll probably partially come up this year, but they'll really start producing next year. And walking onions are perennial. They'll come back every year as long as you don't pull the bulb up. I know I didn't put my gloves on. And I'll water it down again. Just water it real good. And remember, you got holes on the bottom, so it's going to drain out really well. So if any of them pop up, you know, while you're doing that, just make sure you cover them up. Because walking onions, if you don't pick these little clusters off, what they'll do is drop to the ground and they come up on their own the following year. But anyway, that's a little short thing on how to plant some walking onions and how to compost in place. And take it, this is just a really shallow dish pan. Actually, it come from Walmart. It's only like $3 a dish pan. So that's a cheap pot. And the good thing about walking onions, they don't take a deep pot because they don't put down roots very deep. Their roots stay above the ground or up on the top of the ground. And you know how the onions will bulb out. But anyway, check out my other videos as I post them. Like my videos, share my videos, and please subscribe. I need at least 1,000 subscribers to be able to get this channel to grow. And the subscriptions are free, so don't hesitate. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to eat what you grow.